Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 4 of Two Amazon Sellers and a Microphone. I'm Dustin Kane, and with me, as always, is Chris Gramlich. Chris, how you doing?
Hi, I'm doing good. Hey, thanks, Dustin. Appreciate that.
Yep, absolutely. I'm excited about today's topic, product sourcing. This is a
Yeah,
this
this
is
is
a great
interesting.
great topic, and there is a lot to it. This particular topic could probably be about 40 podcasts if we
Yeah,
broke it down each individual topic. But I think today it'd be great just to give sort of an overview of the steps to product sourcing, some of the things that we've done in the past or wish we would have done different, just and tips for how to be successful in product sourcing, because there's a lot to it, and it can sort of make or break it right off the beginning if you pick a bad product or get bad terms with your supplier. It can make things difficult when you're launching a new product on Amazon. So why don't we just go ahead and dig right in to product sourcing? Essentially, it's basically 3 major steps where you're picking a product, picking a supplier, and then negotiating your first order. Obviously, each one of those steps has many individual steps within those, but those are the basic ones when talking about sourcing a product. So why don't we start with picking the product? I mean, obviously, you have to have something in mind that you want to sell. So what are some of the things that you do, Chris, when you're deciding on what product to go after?
for sure. And I kind of do like a little bit of reverse engineering here. I don't know if that's the right term or not, but
Chris, I think you're kind of breaking up on my end.
there we go. We're
Yeah,
having some technical difficulties. There we go.
yeah, it's all right.
What I would normally do is look at figure out the person that I want to sell to. So, stay-at-home moms or teachers, office supply, like whoever your person is, like find that person who you want to sell to, and then see what that person buys, and then that's when I would start sourcing that product to fit that person that I'm going after.
Yeah.
So I guess before I start to source anything, I kind of come up with a customer avatar and figure out who my target audience is, because that's what I'm going to launch to when my product is ready to be live on Amazon and I'm ready to start to do some scalability. So once I figured that out, the next thing I'll do is do some searching on Alibaba, and even further, there's a site called 1688. 1688 is a good site. That's kind of like the eBay over in China. That's kind of like the eBay there. But you can go on there. A tip there: it's all going to be in Chinese, so you gotta translate it. But what you're looking for is like price comparison.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking for this. You're looking to see if your price that you're getting on Alibaba is similar to or even better, or maybe you can use it as a negotiation on 1688. So. Kind of recap there. I figure out who my person is. I figure out what they buy. I go find that product, see if there's demand there on Amazon, and then I start sourcing it from Alibaba or 1688.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, for a lot of my first products when I started, I was picking areas where I was interested in it.
Mm-hmm.
I was basically my own customer avatar because I was trying to pick what I was interested in, which helped me really nail down the road, how to market the product, how to package it, what the end customer was really looking for, because that end customer was me when I was sourcing a lot of these products. So I think that's really a good approach to make sure you're picking products, but knowing your future customer ahead of time, that'll really, really help out. Another thing for me, picking a product is, you got to make sure that the market is there for it and that it's not oversaturated. I mean, I think that's, look, I love, I'm a tennis player. I love tennis. If I start sourcing tennis rackets right now, I'm going to struggle. There are 4 major multi-million-dollar brands that dominate the market. I'm not going to be able to enter into the tennis racket market cost effectively. Conversely, if it was, something else that's super competitive or low price, then there's a lot of people selling it. Those are things to watch out for. I mean, I really like to do some research. There's a lot of tools out there where you can research sort of the market for the product. You can research how many competitors you could be competing against. You could research what their listings look like, how many reviews they have. These are all things that could be barriers to entry, even if it's a product that you love and you feel passionate about. Especially on Amazon, those can be barriers to entry. So it's really good to find that sweet spot. When you're looking at that sweet spot for your products, Chris, what are some metrics you're looking at where you feel confident that once you launch this product, you'll be able to compete without spending a ton of money? Yeah, Chris, you're cutting out again.
I have like this. Are you still there?
No, I got you now. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's like I got this formula that I have, and it's all like, does this product meet this standard, this standard, and this standard? But some of that is the search volume. Like, I need the keywords that I'm going after for that product. They have to have enough search volume, and by enough, I mean if you have brand analytics, they have to have at least 100,000 ranking in those 5 keywords. Because I've done it before, and I think you've done it too, where the product you're going after may not have enough keywords to target, and you're kind of stuck with a kind of a low demand product. Mm-hmm. So I like to have products that have high demand, especially on the search terms, highly searched search terms. So those, when I launch it, I can target a whole bunch of keywords and not just one, and so forth.
Right. And I think on the flip side, you want to make sure that there's not, 1,000 sellers selling a really similar product, especially sellers that have thousands of reviews each potentially.
Yeah.
That can be, so there's a middle ground that you really want to look for when you're sourcing or when you're picking your product to go after.
One quick thing to add to that is, like, if I'm sourcing a product and there's something I want to look at on Amazon before I start to source it, mm-hmm. If there are more than 2 or 3 listings on that page with 1,000 reviews, mm-hmm. I'll just go somewhere else.
Exactly.
Because there's too many there. So that's like a quick test. Like, if I have a product I'm thinking about doing, I'll go to Amazon, look on page 1. If there's more than 2 or 3 listings, and it's getting harder, but if there's more than 2 or 3 listings that have more than 1,000 reviews, I may go somewhere else first before I start launching it.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Another really good tip on that note is, if there are competitors, you see them, and maybe there's not a ton of reviews, 100, 200 reviews on the top couple products, but a lot of them are negative reviews. That's a way you can come in. You can read through the reviews and find out why customers are not super happy with those products, and then make that adjustment on your product. Mm-hmm. That could be a big differentiator. If there's a lot of negatives and you can fix that problem and come in with a product that attacks that issue, you can really be successful right off the bat. So there's a lot of things to look for when you're actually picking that product. Then moving on, once you've go ahead.
Real quick, to kind of tack onto that, not only look at the negative reviews, but see what other people are buying in that frequently bought together area, and you could possibly create a bundle that makes sense, so you could differentiate yourself from other people's products. You could sell a higher priced item and have that piece that people are buying already, and that could kind of differentiate you. So you're right, definitely look at the reviews, but there's other things you can do on the listing to kind of give you an idea on what else you should probably source.
That's absolutely a great idea. To bundling can basically create a new product. That's 2 products in one. And you're right, Amazon gives you that data right there. It says frequently bought with. And if it's there, that means it's bought a lot with that product. And you can combine those 2 and potentially sell those 2 at a price point that's lower than those 2 products combined currently on Amazon. Great tip. That, I think, bundling is becoming a really good strategy right now, especially in saturated markets where people are able to differentiate. So now you've got your product picked. The next step is trying to find a supplier. Mm-hmm. And This can be, I feel like, a challenging step for a lot of people. I mean, you're definitely stepping potentially outside of your comfort zone. You're calling factories, potentially in China or India, or if you can find a U.S. market or a U.S. manufacturer, you're calling around, and then having to deal with them. So I've used Alibaba basically for every supplier I've found. Alibaba is a great resource. You can go there. You'll be able to search for the products. They'll load up just all the suppliers that are selling those products, and you'll be able to get a gauge too, because it'll show sort of minimum order quantities, and it'll show like a price range based on the units you'll order. You can basically ignore that. I mean, it gives you an idea, but you can absolutely negotiate different terms with each supplier. So at that point, the way I would go is I look on Alibaba. I will try to find 5 or 6 suppliers for that product that at least their listings look good. They look like a good supplier potential, and then I will get samples sent to me. I'll request a sample for each of those products. You'll get a good idea once you get the products. You can test them out, and then go to the next step of negotiating. But what are some things that you do when you're picking a supplier? I know you mentioned 1688 that you used, as well as Alibaba. That's a great way down the road to get data to help negotiate the price point. But what other things are you doing when you're looking for a supplier?
There's other things I've been using, and there's some sites that I've learned to use over these last few years. Etsy, like that surprisingly is a good site. Etsy. So if you're sourcing something that could probably be made here locally, try it out. Get it on Etsy first. Get like 20 of them, and then test those 20 out before you commit to 2,000 overseas. So if your product is something that is like handmade or can be made, I always check Etsy now, because I can get smaller quantity that I can then make a test listing to see if that's really a product I want.
That is interesting. That's actually not an approach I've taken yet. You've kind of frozen up on me again.
So yeah, I'm just going to keep talking, and if it doesn't work out, we'll figure it out later.
Yeah.
So Etsy is a good one. Smaller order quantities. You could test the listing and see how it goes from there. Thomas.net. Thomas.net is more of like a U.S. manufacturer, where you can find people like made in the USA products. And you can kind of search around in there, and there's different suppliers. Now you will pay a premium, but you're going to be able to get shorter lead times, and you're going to be able to replenish your inventory faster because you got somebody local. I mentioned 1688. That's a good one. Farmers markets. I've done that before, where people are like selling custom coasters, or they're making their own little soaps, or they're whatever it is. You can kind of either ask them if you could sell their product first on Amazon, and you can kind of make a little bit of a side hustle there first. And then if it works, maybe have them private label your own brand with that same product. Farmers markets are there. Gosh, there's all kinds of stuff. Your own house, like you can see. These are product ideas, I guess, but you can source products. 1688, Alibaba, Thomas.net, Etsy, farmers markets. Those would be the ones.
So you're really testing out the product concept before you almost commit to even a full-time supplier.
Pretty much. And if I'm kind of on the fence if it's going to work. If it's something I've seen, or I've researched quite a bit, and I'm pretty confident it's going to fit my metrics that I'm going after, and I'm not going to find it on Etsy or a farmer's market, I'll just go dive right into it. And then that's where you negotiate with your supplier, either on Alibaba or whoever you use. I usually try to find like 30 suppliers. If I can't find 30, at least find 20. I'll send them the same type of form, and we could talk about negotiation on different podcasts, because there's some cool tips there. But
Oh, yeah.
I'll try to find some suppliers, and then I'll just get samples and compare and continue to roll. It's a process. It's not like you launch products in a month. It takes a while.
No, and if the products ends up being successful, you want to have a really good relationship with your supplier.
Yeah.
That's going to be critical. You don't want to have a bad relationship where you have to start over again and try to find a new supplier for that product.
Well, and to add to that, like, you don't want to burn any bridges with the people that you're not going to use, because you want to keep them kind of like in your back pocket in case this one supplier doesn't work out. You can always pivot and go to the other supplier that you know,
Absolutely.
maybe got second place or third place with.
Yeah, I've had one of my main suppliers from China. Developed a great relationship with him. He's actually flown out 2 or 3 times from China. We're in Kansas City. He's flown out here, stayed with us, with my family for weekends, and it's been great. I mean, we're family friends now. I mean, he sends pictures of his kids and when they're on vacation. So you can develop really good relationships with suppliers, and that goes a long way, especially in some of the other cultures, like the Chinese culture. They really value friendships.
Yeah.
They kind of get a hard knock for being tough on business and negotiating. If you're really friends with them, I mean, the deals open up.
Yeah. And I've heard, like, people that go over there and visit their supplier, they don't even talk about price, or they don't even talk about, you know, minimum order quantities. They just go over there, they take them out to dinner, have a couple cocktails, and just kind of get to know them. And then if it comes up, it comes up. It's kind of like that. Like, so yeah, I've never been. I'd probably love to go someday, but it would be an interesting journey for sure.
Oh yeah. Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, there's lots to that with picking the supplier, but just keep in mind that it could become a long-term relationship that's very, very mutually beneficial for both of you. So, you know, once you have that, once you've got your samples in, if with the way you're approaching it, I guess you've already sort of proven concept with some products. I mean, you can sell the samples too. I mean, you can list the samples on Amazon, or go to AliExpress and just order 10 or 15 units on AliExpress of a product. It doesn't have to have branding. If you want, you could slap a logo on there before you ship it into Amazon. But it doesn't have to be fancy, but you could certainly prove the concept of it a bunch of different ways. But once you have that, once you've proved concept, once you've narrowed it down to a particular supplier that you're going to use, then you have to start negotiating that first order. And you know that you're negotiating everything from the order quantity, the per unit price. If they're handling the shipping, you're going to have to negotiate what that shipping is going to cost, what the terms are. Are they going to do sea or air, et cetera? I mean, there's a lot to negotiate in there, and you want to make sure that you're getting a good deal for both you and the supplier. Anything that you typically do in that negotiating step that is a good tip?
Yeah. I always kind of make up there is a board of directors or somebody higher than me that I need to blame sometimes. Like, so when I negotiate, I'll say, okay, like I'll send it as I'm like the senior buyer or the senior product manager for the company. I'll send them my website and everything, so they kind of seem like we're legit. And then as we negotiate, I'll tell them that I need a price quote for 5,000 units or 10,000 units. Though that immediately gives them like, oh, this guy means business, and they're going to give you a pretty, competitive price right off the bat. When that price quote comes back, I'll then compare it to all the other 20 some odd suppliers that I've contacted, and then I'll go back to them and say, great, your price, is a little bit higher than normal. The board of directors has declined it based off other quotes we have gotten from other suppliers. Please go back to your manager and renegotiate with them. So then the next day they come back, they give you a little bit lower price. It probably only went down like 5 cents, 2 cents, whatever it is. But once you come up with the price you want, And once you're ready to place that order, the last thing I do is flip it from 5,000 units and say, awesome, we're ready to go, but we want to do a test order of 500 units.
Yep.
And so now they're like, I got 5,000 unit pricing, but I'm only going to do 500 units to start with. That's easier to do than rather than going, hey, I need 500 units to start with. You're not going to get any type of negotiation going on there. You kind of just put yourself behind the wall there.
Yeah.
But if you come in and say, I'm looking to do 10,000 units, go back and forth, and then you kind of explain that you're willing to do 500 units as a test order first because your board of directors wants to test out 500 units first before they commit to the 5,000 unit order. They'll probably come back and the price may be like 5 cents higher than what it was, but you're still getting a good price. But you're just going to have to do a smaller quantity. So that's one of the negotiation tactics that I use. Also, there's things you can put in like a contract, like if this fails inspection, the supplier is going to have to cover the reinspection. You can negotiate terms. There's all types of little things that you can really get into. But that's my main bread and butter is that board of directors, and then tell them I want 5,000 units and then bring it down to 500 before we place the order.
Yeah, great tips there. I have a very similar approach. You definitely want to come in asking for a quote on a reasonable order size. I mean, they don't want to waste time with small orders. But if you set the precedent that you're going to potentially be at that high order, or you're looking at that, you just have to, now you're going into the test mode, so you need a sample. You look more credible. You got the right pricing. You have an understanding because you probably will be ordering 5,000 units down the road. And so you're able to understand that pricing. And that's a really good approach. The one thing you got to be careful with sometimes on them is if you negotiate too hard with them, it's got to be a win-win. So, I mean, when you come in, like you said, with that high price, they're giving you a good quote that works for them at the 5,000. So you know that they're willing to work with you to get there. But if you really haggle with them hard, they will say yes and keep saying yes to lower prices, and they are going to lower the quality of the product. They will do that. If you've got metal screws in the product, all of a sudden they're going to send you product with plastic screws, or all kinds. They'll lower the quality to try to get you that price. They want to make the sale. So you got to make sure that you're, it's got to be a win-win. Like I said, you're looking for the long-term benefit. So just trying to haggle someone just down to nothing can backfire sometimes as well.
And that's where, like on your terms or your contracts or whatever it is that before you commit that order, you want to make sure that the product you're getting is going to be the same quality as the sample you got. Correct. And that has to be in there because you don't want to get something with a cheaper plastic or cheaper, like you mentioned, screws. So just kind of, because they will, and I don't think it may not be something they know. I mean, they're knowing to do it, but it's something.
Yeah, it's not malicious. They're trying to get to your price point.
Yeah.
So I agree. But those, I mean, at that point, now hopefully everything works with your order, and then you'll be focused on doing a reorder. But those are the basic. I mean, we've covered a lot here. Obviously, we could talk about each one of those just in so much depth, which we're going to do on future episodes. I mean, just the picking the product, and picking a supplier, we talk for days on those topics.
Yeah.
I think we gave a good overview here of those main steps. I mean, picking a product, picking a supplier, and getting your first order are the major steps. And hopefully some of these tips, and I learned something from you, Chris. That was great. I've now just developed a board of directors for my company.
It's kind of nice. You can kind of take the pressure off you. You're like, it's not my decision.
Yeah, those board of directors are rough.
They're rough, man. They constantly are down my throat, telling me they need lower pricing.
My company just got a lot bigger. I've got a lot more people working with me than I had thought. That was a great tip. So that kind of it makes this stuff fun. I mean, that's what I love about this business that we're in is you get to have a lot of fun like that. Talking about your imaginary board of directors. That's hilarious. But yeah, great tips there. That was fun. Anything you want to add in the last few minutes here?
Quick thing. Check IP. Make sure you're checking patents and intellectual property. Make sure there's no patents on some of these items. You don't want to get stuck with something that you then have to, get rid of on the cheap, or Amazon has to get rid of. So if you find something, double check. Can't mention that more than.
Yeah, that's a great point. Absolutely. I've made that mistake.
Yeah.
I've sold stuff with patents on it and quickly figured out that was not good.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's an absolutely great point. Well, before we run, just like we talk about in every episode, Chris and I are both experienced sellers. I say that we're not gurus. We just are experienced sellers. We've been doing it for a long time. And so if you'd like to talk with us about your business, we'd love to. You can go to Sellozo.com or somewhere maybe around this in the show notes on the podcast, or if you're watching this live, it could be somewhere around the video. You can book a call with us. We'll talk anything Amazon. And then if it's a good fit, we'll also walk you through Sellozo and how we help sellers automate and optimize their ads on Amazon. We can talk anything with you. We'd love to talk with you. We talk to sellers all day long, and Chris and I will be excited to talk about your business. So please take us up on that offer if it's something you'd like to do. And if you're in the beginning stages of your Amazon business right now, I highly encourage you to today take your first step towards sourcing a product.
Mm-hmm.
Do something, get a spreadsheet going, look for suppliers, do something that gets the ball moving. You won't be sorry. It's a great business. Look how much fun Chris and I are having. We want you to have as much fun too. And if you're, I forgot to mention about going back to Sellozo. If Sellozo is something you'd like to get started with right now to help automate your advertising, we have a discount for you. It's podcast 20. It'll get you 20% off your first month with Sellozo, as well as a free trial, 14-day free trial, as well as a call with Chris or I. That's worth it right there.
Yeah.
So use that podcast 20, go to Sellozo.com. You can sign up using that, get 20% off your first month. Chris, as always, it's been a blast.
For sure.
We will see. I'm sure we'll be back here talking again. Well, tomorrow's the weekend. We'll take tomorrow off.
We'll take a few days off, and we'll come back and get back at it next week.
Yep. Monday, we'll get our next episode rocking on Monday. Again, fun times, Chris. Everybody, have a great day out there and take action some way to get going.
See you, man.